2 green trades this morning, and then I took an impulsive one with no setup. I lost $85 in one trade and erased everything I had made in the first 2 trades. I still finished green, but today's lesson is about what happens right after you have a couple of green trades and why that moment can be really dangerous for your trading. My name is Raven. Welcome to Trade with Raven. I am a new momentum trader, and if you're a new trader, come along on the journey with me. Subscribe below. Okay, let's get into today's trading. This is my recap for today. I had a strong start. Okay, I had let me pull up my trades here. I had 2 green trades. All my trades today were on ELAB. My first 2 trades were green. They were pretty clean. A bull flag pullback and a break over the half dollar. I'm only doing bull flag pullbacks unless I see a really obvious setup, but that looked like an obvious one to me. I was feeling great. Up $70. That was putting me up on the day, the week, and the month. Because starting the day, I was a little down on the week and a little down on the month, which was a huge bummer. Shortly after that, I was feeling confident. I was flying high. I was like, this is going to be great. I'm going to finish green. I'm going to have a great day. Right after that, I was going to take a break from my live stream. And, but right before I took a break, I saw this trade, ELAB, and I jumped in without a real setup. Okay, and I lost $85. I tried to get out at $50, which was my stop, but it didn't catch my order. I had to redo it, and by the time I sold, it had slipped down all the way down here to 588. So I glanced at it. I saw that the candles were going down. I saw that the MACD was green. And I saw that the price was breaking up over the high of the low candle, and I clicked buy. However, now looking back, and if you want to watch this trade, I am time stamping my live streams, so it takes a little bit for YouTube to catch up, but you'll be able to click on the timestamp and see the trade. So upon closer inspection, I noticed that yes, we had a leg up, although the volume was choppy here. I would have preferred to see it going up, stair-stepping up like the price. Here, it started to pull back, but the volume was increasing. I would rather see the volume decreasing on this candle. And then here, yes, the volume increased, but if I had really looked at this closely, I wouldn't have felt confident about taking that trade. However, I didn't look at it closely. I was impulsive and I just jumped in. I was feeling overconfident from the first 2 trades. And that cost me, okay? Because if I had looked at this week, my theme is volume and relative volume, and also looking at the volume bars. And if I had looked at this, I would have said that the volume is incongruent with the price action in terms of what I would want to see for the beginning of a bull flag pullback. So on Substack, I am posting a weekly goal, and I am posting Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So Mondays, I set up my goal. I talk about some economic indicators I'm looking at for the week. Wednesday, I do a check-in, and Friday, I'm kind of wrapping up. Did I achieve my goal? Did I see improvement? And what are potential lessons that I need to work on going forward? What's the new bottleneck? And this week's lesson was working on volume. So I have been hyper aware of volume. And because of that, I think I should have seen that. Well, that was a bummer. I went on a break, came back to my live stream, and around 9 a.m., I took another trade on ELAB. Again, I was risking $50, 10 cents a share. And this was a bull flag pullback. Here, it did break out over the low candle, but and the volume did start to pop up, but it rejected. And it ended up popping up over here, but I couldn't hold that long because my stop was 10 cents a share. And if I had held it all the way down, I don't do that anymore. I don't hold it hoping, praying, doing a rain dance. I don't do any of that anymore. I just have, and I fixed this last week, sell at my stop. End of period. End of story. So, so anyway, wow, that was a kick in the ovaries. So now at this point, I'm down $80. I was up 70. Now I'm down 80. I'm red on the day, red on the week, red on the month. I'm thinking to myself, wow. But again, this is the second psychological lesson. This is the second point where I could have stopped trading, but I had two red trades, but I knew that the one before was my fault. I sensed it immediately because I put that right in my notes. Impulsive trade. Okay. This trade, I do believe this was a false breakout. So I thought to myself, okay, this first red trade technically was in my control. The second red trade, that one I'm not sure. I feel like that was a good decision to get in, and I think that was just a false breakout. So I decided to continue to trade, and I did right before the market opened at 9:04 and 9:10. I had two green bull flag pullbacks, and that was able to pull me out of my red day. And I was patient and I waited until I saw something. And you can see here on this one, the MACD is green. I'm above the 9 EMA. The pullback is clean. The volume is coming down. When it popped over the high of the low candle, I got in, but I had confirmation on the volume. This volume candle was higher. And I took my 10 cents a share. No, this one I got more. I got 70 cents. So I got, what's that, like 13 cents a share. I could have tried to hold all the way for the top, but I didn't want to be greedy. I just wanted to make progress. Okay, I did the second trade, same thing. Oh no, that was the one. The second trade was the one that I got 70 cents a share. So this one I got a little over 10 cents a share. I mean, sorry, 13 cents, 10 cents a share. So almost 11 cents a share. So again, it was a clean pullback. I waited for the confirmation of the volume candle and popped in. So these are the two that I traded. This one and this one. And you can see how much they're so clean, you know? And that was patience. Okay. I was being patient and I was watching. Okay. I was not being impulsive. However, it took a lot of self-control to do that. So generally, we think of people spiraling when they have bad trades, but in this case, I spiraled when I had the two good trades in the beginning. Now, at this point, I was just so happy to be green again, and I was nearing the end of my trade. I was only going to trade until 10 a.m. My live stream was only going till 10 a.m. And I was getting close to being out of settled funds. I trade in a cash account. So what I decided to do was, and you can't see this on TraderView, but on Thinkorswim, I reduced my share size to 100 shares. If I had taken another trade, so at this point, I was up $48.80. Yay! This put me up on the day, up on the week, and up on the month. So at this point, I didn't want to risk that. So I reduced my share size, and at 100 shares, I then would have had a stop at 10 cents a share, which would have been $10. And that would have been a loss that I could handle psychologically, and it still would have kept me green on the day, green on the month, and green on the week. So if I had really thought about that one impulsive trade and thought, what could this cost me? I might not have taken any more trades today. Those first two trades, it was up $70. Everything after that was just digging myself out of a hole. So I was up ahead. I was up more after the first two trades, but I was impulsive with that third trade, and I didn't really think about how the risk would affect my profit and loss for the day. I don't like to over focus on profit and loss. I want to focus on improvement and improving 1% every day and learning. But the reality is that I'm trying to make money. So I think I do need to balance looking at each trade individually with looking at it in the context of where am I at on the day. And I ended up not taking any more trades. I didn't see anything that I loved in the market open. And I promised myself that even though I was only risking 10 cents a share with 100 shares for $10, that I still wasn't going to take anything unless it was really and truly obvious. So today's lesson, let's do a little recap. Winning streaks feel amazing, okay, but they are also a discipline test disguised as something fun. Okay, if you're on a winning streak, I know it was only two trades, or a losing streak where I have two trades, because often if I hit three trades and I'm feeling like my mojo is really off, I will stop. But either way, it's a discipline test. Okay. Being green doesn't necessarily mean that you can just do whatever you want, whenever you want. Okay. And my Trader View note said it perfectly. Okay. This was perfect. Impulsive trade. Impulsive trade. Look at this. The note here, bull flag pullback, the real one. I guess I meant after this one was a false breakout. This is a real bull flag pullback. Okay. So that's the work, not just knowing my rules, but honoring my rules when I don't feel like I need to. But like, what was my rationale for not needing to be patient and analyze the trade, right? What was my rationale? Like, I'm superhuman because I got two trades that equal $70. Calm down, Raven. So I think the lesson is honoring the rules and making sure that you're always tapping into that discipline. So that's what I'm going to do moving forward. I'm going to make sure I always tap into that discipline. If you like my content, please subscribe. Check me out on Substack, Trade with Raven over there. And I will see you tomorrow.